exclusively fluff and patting each other, mostly the Meg, on the back, there's really only 3 big takeaways from Meghan Markle's appearance on the Jamie.
Looks like the whole internet is buzzing because beauty queen and top-selling writer Kern Lima just went on her brand new podcast and blasted Meghan Markle, calling her fake and pretending and saying she planned a totally staged and unreal interview. And now the clip is going viral with people shocked as Jamie spills that the whole talk she had with Meg was nothing but an act.
New material. Desperately. There is a lot of recycled stuff throughout here, which isn't a surprise because whenever Meg is given an opportunity, it's immediately squashed by her.
Jamie said everything was staged and every feeling was made up. And now Meghan is said to be raging in private because this not only hurts her shaky public image, but also shows her media side is all for show, which is bad news for someone who built her life after the royals on truth and emotions and power.
But herself nonstop. Second, there's one big difference between people who are well-known or famous public figures, whatever, who become loved.
Now everything around her is shaking, and the flaws are clear to see because Meghan Markle has always used emotional truth as her big brand move, talking about mental health, racism, motherhood, and her royal life, acting like she is open, hurt, and strong. But Jamie said the truth came out, and before the recording,
Meg and Harry do all the time, and then they wonder why people don't like them. Third takeaway, Kern Lima is the source material for the Meg's new character debuted in 2025.
People are now stunned as Jamie revealed that Meghan team had everything planned from the words to the fake pauses and even camera shots to make her seem vulnerable. And she said it felt like a Netflix drama instead of a real chat, which is a huge blow for someone who has called others fake. And now many think her honest image might have been fake all along.
Podcast. But first, let's discuss this sort of character trait mooching that the Meg is known to do. I now understand after this podcast experience, which was crazy, corner of the internet.
Insiders have long whispered about Meghan and her need to control every detail from Spotify to Netflix to Archwell, with one Spotify worker saying they never met the real her, only the version she wanted to show. And now Jamie Podcast has taken those whispers and turned them into a storm that the industry can no longer ignore.
Podcast. But first, let's discuss this sort of character trait mooching that the Meg is known to do. I now understand after this podcast experience, which was crazy, corner of the internet.
But now even some of Meghan's closest supporters quietly admit she uses planned vulnerability to win public sympathy, which they see as manipulation. And this time, the criticism is not from some angry reporter or royal watcher, because Kern Lima is loved for her journey of beating rejection, creating a beauty empire, and lifting up women with her work, and her books sell huge and her talks pack every seat.
Going for at the moment. She is going for this inspirational self-love sort of a vibe, I believe. Let me explain. As fleeting as it surely will be. Remember, we've talked about Meghan Markle.
For a woman whose honesty has touched millions and whose story is trusted across the world, it becomes a huge moment when she openly says Meghan lied, and Jamie explained on her podcast that she had stayed quiet for months watching from the sidelines. But when the episode aired and she heard people calling it one of the most powerful things they had ever heard, she felt a deep responsibility to speak up, revealing that every bit of it was fake. And she made it clear she was not chasing drama or attention, but was simply determined to bring the truth into the open.
Eras tour video, I will link it for you up here and in the description box. Basically, Meghan has a tendency to sort of create a character for herself in a way that she then sort of tries on for a while. She tries to sell it for a while before.
And that moment of truth has now exploded into chaos for Meghan, as people close to her say she is in full meltdown, pacing around and ordering her team to stop the episode and push out a public correction. But Jamie is standing her ground and is even planning a follow-up question and answer next week, promising to bring more proof while the whole world waits to see what happens next.
Diana really seems to fall into this category of a means to an end. She did that to try to lure Harry or gain more control of Harry, who knows. it was obviously something to do with Harry. Other times, it feels like the Megs mere.
Hollywood is buzzing with quiet talk that Meghan brand is falling apart, and all it took was one woman telling the truth to shake a kingdom built on acting. And now people are wondering what Meghan might have said off mic during that recording, and if Oprah is starting to slowly back away from her. People are now looking closer at Meghan than ever before because Kern Lima went beyond calling the interview fake and revealed that when the cameras stopped, Meghan instantly dropped her gentle emotional act. And in those off-mic moments, her teary and soft tone turned into a sharp businesslike and even condescending attitude, which Jamie found so shocking that it shattered the image Meghan tries to show and made many believe she might not be the victim she has always claimed to be.
Because she doesn't have a strong sense of self and hasn't really developed her own identity. She has a habit of pulling traits from those around her and mirroring them because she erroneously thinks it's a shortcut to bonding with someone, or it could be something else entirely.
Instead, she comes across as the director of her own carefully crafted sympathy story. And for someone who built her success on being relatable and sharing personal struggles, this crack in her image is a major blow. And now whispers suggest her bond with Oprah Winfrey may also be taking a hit. Because for years, Meghan leaned on Oprah's support, most notably during their explosive 2021 interview. But insiders from Harpo Productions hint that Oprah, who treasures real authenticity, would not take kindly to feeling manipulated on camera. And while she has not spoken publicly, the growing distance between them has people wondering if one of Meghan's strongest alliances is quietly slipping away.
Intro and stuff, it's like totally in that vibe. And so it's clear that she's operating in this space of positivity and faith and self-help, self-love, stuff like that, which is totally fine. That's not where I'm going with this. I'm not criticizing that tangent. She speaks in this sort of permanent uplifting, over-the-top.
What's hitting harder now is that if Oprah really steps away, Meghan could lose more than a friend. She could lose the Hollywood protection that has kept her brand shining. And for years, her blend of royalty activism and celebrity drew in luxury partnerships, but with Jamie podcast blowing up across the internet, PR firms are suddenly nervous, and a top Beverly Hills agency insider said, big clients are already questioning if she is worth the risk as her trust factor sinks fast, and if giants like Dior, Spotify, or Netflix rethink their deals, the impact would go far beyond her image, leaving her entire financial empire in serious danger.
Critics of this sort of a genre would say that it's a little bit like preying on somebody who's down and out, getting them to spend money on books or seminars that are supposed to turn on the self-love or unblock their mental barriers holding them back or change their lives through positivity and faith. That a lot of people argue that is.
With Jamie's story still dominating headlines and shaking the internet, the uncertainty around all three of Meghan's biggest deals is growing by the day. And now people are digging deeper into her history, spotting the same troubling pattern from the short rise and fall of her Archetypes podcast to the sudden collapse of her Spotify deal, and even that wedding speech that critics said sounded more like a TED Talk than a heartfelt moment. Many are saying Meghan does not just add drama to her stories. She controls and scripts every single moment, every emotion, and even every camera shot to protect the image she wants the world to see. A former Netflix producer told Variety that working with her felt like producing reality TV, except she always insisted on having the final edit. And now the way people see her has completely flipped. Instead of a misunderstood royal, she is being viewed as a calculated actress creating a role to win public sympathy. And the twist in all this is that Jamie has no plans to step back. In fact, she has promised that her next episode will be even bigger, saying she will release the full uncut recording along with the moments that were edited out, which she claims reveal the real Meghan when the cameras were off. And many believe those tapes could change the conversation forever. As Meghan team rushes to control the fallout, the reality is that the damage may already be beyond repair because the Duchess who once used tears on camera to prove her truth is now being labeled a liar by a woman whose reputation is all about authenticity, and the online reaction has been massive with hashtags like Meghan Exposed, Jamie Tells, The Truth, truth and scripted sympathy dominating social media, while TikTok creators, royal commentators, and even longtime supporters pick apart every moment of Jamie Kern Lima bombshell podcast. What's even more striking is that many who once defended her are starting to change sides, with one former fan admitting they had believed her for years, but now feel they might have been wrong all along. I feel completely deceived now, and what was once framed as a royal versus media battle has turned into Meghan versus the truth, and this time, the truth is striking hard. Palace sources say there's a quiet satisfaction inside the royal family because for years, Prince William, Kate Middleton, and the late Queen endured accusations without hitting back, while Meghan freely told her side. But now the tide is turning, and as one royal aide reportedly put it, the monarchy didn't need to respond because the truth always comes out. And in this case, it has landed harder than any public statement could. And behind the scenes, leaked information from Meghan-owned team shows mounting fear that Netflix might pull the plug on any upcoming projects, putting her future partnerships at serious risk. Jamie could deal the biggest blow yet if she releases the full tapes, and with Spotify already walking away from its $20 million deal after only one season, and Dior suddenly going silent on a rumored fashion collaboration. The message is clear in Hollywood and in business. Trust is everything, and Meghan might have just lost it. Her remarks have also reignited questions around Archewell, Meghan, and Harry's foundation, which has built its image on powerful impact storytelling. But now donors are wondering how real that impact truly is, with critics saying Archewell has always been more of a PR shield. And if that shield has really cracked, corporate sponsors and charitable partners may start disappearing faster than anyone expected. Jamie Kern Lima, who once appeared to the world as nothing more than a friendly guest on Meghan Markle platform, has now transformed into the very embodiment of the authentic female voice that Meghan once tried to claim as her own. She is a self-made billionaire who rose from rejection and struggled to build a beauty empire grounded in honesty, transparency, and staying completely real. And unlike Meghan, she does not beg for attention or fight for the spotlight. Her quiet confidence and genuine nature have always spoken louder than any headline. But this time, her decision to boldly stand up and call out one of the most famous and influential women alive has catapulted her into a new level of public respect. Her courage to tell her story without fear has made her a symbol of truth at a time when the world is desperate for something real. And now, as the dust settles, people are looking at the contrast more clearly than ever, with one viral tweet summing up the entire scandal. Meghan Markle gave us drama. Jamie Kern Lima gave us truth. And in a cultural moment where truth is rare and precious, it is Jamie's voice that people are holding on to, sharing, supporting, and defending with more passion every single day. If you want more insider tea and all the drama Hollywood and the royals don't want you to hear, make sure you follow Taylor Telsall, where we spill every detail and keep you ahead of the gossip everyone will be talking about next.